Okay, I just put this on so that I can talk to you in a more central way. So, firstly, I love the word Lama. And I love Bangalore. And Mr. Gupta said San Francisco to Bangalore. I'll say Bay Area to Bangalore, B2B. 16 hours away. We can pretty much do everything that we require. But thank you very much. I think it's pretty exciting to see all of you in this room. I come with no papers, no notes. So I'm just going to exchange some thoughts. Hopefully that gives you more insight. And we'll try and see how we can leverage Bangalore, how we can leverage India, and how can we, at the backdrop of Lama, really curate what India should be proud of. And I believe that proudness will really come when all of you will take your ideas and translate that into reality and make India truly an IT capital. IT capital it is, but intelligence capital. So from IT capital to intelligence capital, from Bangalore all the way, knocking the doors of the Bay Area would be just a wonderful way to look at things. Now, it is a fact that for the first time, at least in my living time, and even my forefathers' time, you are into a tectonic shift. If you went and asked Atlas and said, what are the top inventions of mankind? Possibly semiconductor would be soon after electricity, press, penicillin, and you'll find semiconductor. But I'm not here to talk about semiconductor for sure. If you were to ask tomorrow, what is the biggest invention? It'll say digital intelligence. And the reason it'll say digital intelligence is fundamentally because for the first time in the history of mankind, you're talking about an evolution of intelligence which is not built over thousands of years through adaptation and survival, but sculpted from data, from your experience, and because of the compute that you have. It's engineered not over thousands of years, but literally in days together. None of our forefathers saw that, and that's the opportunity that we're talking about. And here is the good news. The good news is India is adopting AI. If I look at any statistic, if I go to the Stanford AI Index, it says India is among the 3 countries which is adopting AI. But then I looked a little deeper. And it says that we are becoming the capital of global APIs. It's fantastic that at least because of quickness to the market, because of your need to invent least and not have headaches of what undergoes into it, it's a fabulous thing that we are adopting it. But then, our whole IT industry, and most of it here in Bangalore, have had left their footprints in every revolution before this. Be it the social revolution, be it the internet revolution, be it the PC revolution, pretty much all codes have been written by an Indian, and some tell me that every third line of code has an Indian at it. Now imagine this. If you were to leave the same footprint, you're going to be borrowing the powers of a super person from outside the world and bringing that intelligence here and paying for it, vis-a-vis a country of our size, our history, our sensibilities, our common sense, is going to take our experiences and export it outside and bring it back in a very expensive way. It's almost trying to tell Middle East, even though you have the fuel here, please build a refinery somewhere else. How expensive would that be? And today you have an opportunity to do it here. And just like Lama says, think big, think local, and be sovereign. It's extremely important for all founders, all developers to think about it. And I'll tell you why. Let me just start off with first transformation that is taking place and why is it India advantage. The first transformation that is taking place actually commenced even before I was born and slightly before I was born. It started the age of modern computing. There was a computer delivered to the world by IBM called IBM S360. It had a CPU, it had an I/O, it had memory, but most importantly introduced a concept of abstracting the operating system coming in between abstracting hardware from the software layer, thanks to the operating system. Why? Because the value was in the software, and as architectures change at the bottom of it, you could still maintain the richness of that software. What IBM introduced pretty much has worked till today. The smartphone that's in your hand is exactly the same architecture. The personal computer before that is exactly the same architecture. Client-server systems was exactly the same architecture. Mini computers were exactly the same architecture. But think about it, that at its peak, it was driven through an observation, through an empirical observation that if we could double the ICs within the same energy envelope, we could reduce the cost of software by half. So it was deflation. And because of computing deflation, we could now grow the industry by 40% compounded at its peak. In other words, we could bring in pretty much all our application, digitize them, and our digital transformation worked. But like all things in life, laws of physics is not something that you can go against. And there has been an observation now in Anvil for 30 years that the best thing to do is to augment the CPU. You augment the CPU with a GPU, which is a specialized processor, and you build a new compute, and that compute is extremely important, especially when you look at high-performance computing, when you learn to simulate the big challenges of life, and more importantly, you do AI. And this is in play when India can afford to build its infrastructure. I was about to tell Mr. Gupta that Karnataka, Bangalore needs to have that infrastructure. The good news is that after me, Sunil is going to talk to you about, Sunil Gupta, the other Gupta, and hopefully will tell you that the infrastructure that is getting created in India is so promising for you, both in terms of its latest technology and at prices which are unprecedented, that you can take advantage of one of the elements that is going to help you, which is the compute. Algorithm, pretty much the deep learning algorithm is known to all of you, and you can pretty much express all your problem statements there. And then really comes the data. And we'll talk about data, how you can really take care of your data and what you need to do. But are those the only problems? And the answer is no. There are some more problems. Deep research is a challenge. Like we said, data is a challenge. Yes, infrastructure is also a challenge. But what do bright minds, brilliant brains really do? They take a challenge and translate that into an opportunity. And you're not alone in this. Our greatest counter force towards taking you local, taking you big, to taking you sovereign is the government itself. The government, through its AI mission, has very clearly articulated that we will be AI for all. We will be the AI garage of the world, and we'll do it by starting to solve problems which are population scale here in India. And our problems are extremely large but nuanced in India. Many of you probably don't realize this, but almost 50% of the 250 million Indians who go to school cannot even do class 2 maths despite being in class 10th. Our healthcare system needs to leapfrog. Our agriculture is completely different. We are talking about tiny farms, 1 acre farms. How are you going to basically bring value into it? But yet, we solve many of these problems in different areas. When I was growing up, there was no concept of transacting digitally. When I was growing up, the cost of money was so high because nobody knew who I was. Today, because of the unique identification, people know us. Thanks to UPI, you do 80% of the digital transactions on on UPI using Aadhaar at the backdrop. We have taken satellites to Mars at costs which are unprecedented. So we know what is population scale, we know how to do it. Question is, what do we do if you got to be driving the advantage called AI? So take advantage what the government has already initiated. When Sunil is here, pay attention to what he's talking about. And there is a world-class infrastructure as good as wherever in the world you'll find it at cost, which nobody's ever heard about. Just when I talked about the world's best infrastructure, the man himself comes and sits down here. So I'll leave the magic to him to speak about. Now the data. Many of you tell me that we are not able to unlock our ideas because of data. We don't have access to high quality data, and you've seen the AI mission has made certain announcements. They're also working on how do we indemnify each other on the data, and data sets are going to be available because of our space program. Our geographical data is rich because it's a government-owned data. Our healthcare data is very good. Obviously, for our nation, we require defense data that's available, but that's for security. And they're figuring out how we're going to allow you to do that. So think about that part. So you have the infra, you have the data, you've got to express all your problems towards deep learning, and that's how the magic will start happening. What you will need to learn is that today, you need to go beyond APIs and start building solutions here in India, for India. And you will be able to export this intelligence outside if you solve for India, because you'll have surplus of those. Now, how is this intelligence really built? This intelligence is built, and I don't have to tell you this, into small tokens. They're like atoms. And only if they combine into molecules, you have an advantage. And they're absolutely not built in data centers. They are built in AI factories. And these AI factories is what you guys need to go after and get these tokens. Either you build it or you rent it. You will have to demand it to solve that problem. And these are absolutely like factory machines. They have machines, they have processes, they have methodology, they have software, and they generate tokens. When you control tokens yourself, you manage it, and you become cost effective. And therefore, think about how we're going to get access to AI factories. And the world doesn't stop there. The change is happening so rapidly that the work that's being done by the Western world can actually benefit us by working on population scale use cases. Because if you have use cases, you will be troubled and research will come to your rescue. They will understand what those big cases are. And they will find solutions for you. They'll innovate with you. And you will find that you will find Indian solutions to these large problems. So think again. Think big. Think local. Think sovereign. That's your opportunity. There are multiple use cases that you can think about it. Do not get constrained. The capital will flow towards you. Because when you think big, people come there. When you think India that solves global South problems, money will come here. It's just your ability to shed the inhibition of thinking small that will help you to grow. And towards the end, what I will say, when you think about fashion, typically the word France will come in front of you. When you think about fashion, the word Milan comes in front of you. Think about it. It's not France and Milan that produce the world clothing or textile. They infuse the idea. They empower you with an idea. They give you the style, the design, and you do the consumption. And that's why you follow the Italian, the French designs. India has that opportunity. For sure, Bangalore has that opportunity. And that opportunity, like Lama always says, is here today. And that's why I said, if you were to ask Atlas tomorrow, they will tell you, India can be the capital of intelligence. And for sure, I would love Bangalore to be the capital. I would love every tier 2 to be the capital. Love Hubli to be the capital. I would love every city to be a capital. Why? Most of you, when you came into Bangalore, and when you ask for coffee, literally every day I learn a new language. You all came here because there was opportunity here, because there's infrastructure here. That's why you say the roads are congested, because you're traveling on those roads. But now think about it. If I can build infrastructure with your ideas within your cities, you can prosper each city. And then very rapidly, 2047, we can reach that landmark even faster. So at the heart is intelligence, digital intelligence. So ladies and gentlemen, if I could leave you with one message, it's your opportunity to make a big difference to India and make a big difference to the world. At no stage I'm saying when you think local, think big, it doesn't mean you're not thinking the world, but start here and make a dramatic difference to the world. Thank you very much.